This is Atco and Little Girl. I just wanted to do a little video about something that I went through a little while ago. I bought a cassette deck from the Hamfest week or two ago. I had 3 pieces in there and got a good price for 20, but one of them didn't work. It was the cassette. So I was taking a look at it, opened it up. I could see right away that the belt was gone and broken. I didn't know if there was more to that, but I couldn't go any further until I could get a belt. I didn't have a belt, and I remembered that you know, I'm into the Victrola stuff and Edison stuff as well, and I've gotten on the Victrola guy's channel, and he's had a lot of good tips on some of his stuff. And one of the things he had on there was a video of how you could make a temporary belt. So I thought, well, you know, I think I'll give that a shot. I did it. It was relatively quick to put that on, and it worked. The belt worked just fine. It turned out that the electronics was no good. The cassette was bad. So that was a loss. But it saved me from having to order a belt that I didn't need. I might be able to use those belts for other things in the future. What I want to do, though, is I should have made a video when I was making that belt, and I didn't think about it at the time. And I've thrown away the whole unit. So I thought, rather than trying to do this again, the Victrola guy had done a really good job on his video, so I asked him if it'd be okay for me to edit part of his video and throw it into on my video as well, so that it can give that information to other people. I think it's a tip, a great tip, and I probably won't work for everything, but you have nothing to lose, no cost, to give it a shot on it, and you might want to try it sometime. So here's a little part of his video, and see what you think.
Greetings, Benjamin J. the Victrola guy behind the camera again. Just replaced the belts on it, and I thought I'd do a quick video to show you a real neat trick about making these belts. Now, I make these belts, and I make them for virtually anything that takes a belt. I make them out of duct tape, and this is the one I just took off. This has been on here for probably 90 days, something like that. It's been on there over 2 months, I know that. And they eventually get smooth, and they start to slip on this machine. It runs at really high speed. But I want to show you a really quick tip for making a belt, and it works for anything. In fact, I use these belts on the phonographs until I order a belt for them. So you just take a piece of duct tape and you fold it over on itself, sticky to sticky, leaving a tab with the adhesive exposed. And now you've got it made, and this is some tough stuff. I mean, it really is. You put this on a phonograph, it'll last forever. Then you cut it to whatever width you want it to be after you've stuck it to itself. That way it's not difficult to work with. You lay it out, mark a nice straight line with a ruler, trim it to whatever length or ever width you want it to be. And then when you want to make the belt, you simply take this end, fold it over, butt it against that end, and then your adhesive strip holds it in place. And the nice thing about this is, since the connector is on the top, the side that's touching the pulley, there's no splice, so you don't get any wow or flutter. You never hear it going past the pulley on a phonograph. They work really well, and they are really, really stout. And should, over time, they start to wear, which they do on the shaver because it's spinning at such high speeds, you can just loosen the adhesive, take up the slack, trim it if you need to, re-stick it, and you've got an instant belt. And this works really well. Now, I've just replaced both the belts on the shaver. Now, it's got one main belt that comes off the electric motor, comes up, drives the mandrel. There's a second belt off the mandrel that drives the feed screw. But just to give you some idea, I mean, these are made of duct tape, and listen to this. It runs extremely smooth. You can see they're running true, and they cost nothing. And as they begin to stretch, you loosen the adhesive tab, take up the slack, re-stick it, and you're good for weeks. On a phonograph, an Edison phonograph, virtually anything that takes a belt, once you get it set up and put the adhesive strap or the tab down, you never have to adjust it again. And I use these belts I make for every phonograph I get, and while I'm working with it, rebuilding it, repairing it, whatever I'm doing. And then once I've got it up and running, then I'll order a new rubber belt for it. But the nice thing about this is it doesn't cost anything, and it's simple to do. They don't stretch. The only thing that stretches these belts is the fact that they're spinning so quickly. On a phonograph, they won't stretch at all. You never have to adjust them once you make them for a phonograph. I had the gem running with one of these until I got it going, and then finally bought a belt for it. But the belt that I made out of the duct tape was working just fine. I didn't have to replace it, and of course it just looks nicer. In this case, these belts are impossible to find. You can also repair a leather belt by simply laying the belt down and putting duct tape over it, hitting it nice and flat with your thumb, leaving a tab at the end, bring the edges together, just like this, with the original belt on the inside. Really simple to do.
Okay, well, it's a tip. Might be something you can use, might not be, but it worked for what I needed, and I thought it was pretty cool. So see what you guys think, and this is Atco and Little Girl signing off.